Really excited to have the two of you here. It's a bit of a funny story how I originally met Pentatonic. We were at Davos. I was at the World Economic Forum for the first time. No, I was not inside WEF, okay? I was in Davos. But I had a really fun time, and sitting beside me was one of the co-founders, Phil, and he told me about Pentatonic, and I was like, that sounds really cool. That sounds really interesting. And we've been on this journey since. So we did something at the UN Ocean Conference, and now we looped in our friends at Mastercard, which we have done a lot with and are always really happy to partner with. So excited for our conversation today. So Malin, I'm going to start with you. Tell us about the Sustainability Innovation Lab at Mastercard. What types of projects are you working on, and what areas of focus are of particular interest?
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for having us today. And I'm actually very excited to join Johann and the team of Pentatonic to have the conversation. So yes, Mastercard runs the Sustainability Innovation Lab, and we are based out of Stockholm, a global team which really focuses on powering the next generation of global commerce. So Mastercard has been running for the last 7 decades. We enable global commerce. Obviously, you all use a Mastercard as you walk through the days. And do we believe consumption will shift over time? Do we think it's necessary that as consumption becomes more sustainable? And do we want to enable our ecosystem to power that transition? Absolutely. So our approach in doing that, as for many other topics that we approach, is to stand up a lab with designers, co-creation platforms with customers, etc. So the Sustainability Innovation Lab is focusing on 3 main areas to enable sustainable consumption overall. Those are to inform and reward sustainable choices, because if you don't know what a sustainable choice is, and if you're not inspired or stimulated to do so, nothing will change in behavior amongst us consumers. Secondly, we focus on enabling sustainable mobility. Great to see Lime here today, because we know that transportation-based emissions represents the largest categories of emissions in cities. So we really wanted to drive those solutions that can help to bring those down. Examples can include, as you move through the day here at Manhattan, you tap and go with your Mastercard. Not all cities in the world have that today, and it's really instrumental to bring digital solutions to the citizens so it's easy for them to use public transportation methods. And people here earlier talked about being commercially anchored in the sustainability approach. Of course, it makes total sense for Mastercard to drive new digital transactions when you tap and go with public transport. Third area, which we are so excited to partner with Pentatonic on, is circular commerce. So we believe the circular economy will grow. We think we can have a role to remove barriers, show good examples, drive pilots with our ecosystem. So we connect 150 million merchants with 22,000 banks and reach 3 billion people. When we have companies like Pentatonic who are trailblazing how circular economies can grow, that is really how we can help to drive that type of impact. So we are not necessarily interested to drive the solutioning and ideation and come up with all the new products that can enable sustainable consumption, but we want to find the best companies doing so and help them to grow by connecting them to our ecosystem.
Amazing. I mean, Mastercard in and of itself is an incredible platform. We had an earlier talk on platforms, and it's great that you have this lab, innovation lab. And sustainability wasn't always a part of a component, but now it is, and you're finding these new solutions. So that's very exciting. So Johann, tell us about Pentatonic and any real-life examples you can of how the technology is being used.
Maybe I can say a few words about circularity up front. I was inspired by the previous panel. I think it's really important to not go for the degrowth narrative, where you picture a world where we just consume less, maybe not buy this product or that product. I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting next to Malin. I've always been saying that. All the major objectives we want to achieve as a species hinge on us deploying more materials at scale, be it the computational backbone of AI, which is very material intensive, or renewable and electric mobility, renewable energy and electric mobility infrastructure, which takes more materials to be deployed in new ways and circularity solutions, as we've just heard at the back end of that, or lifting the global south into something like a Western middle class lifestyle, to oversimplify. And children unpacking holiday gifts is not the face of evil consumerism. It's how we cater to that and it's entirely possible. Nature makes 300x more complex polymers than humanity, and it works just fine. We too can achieve that, and I think fintech, which has been traditionally the orchestration layer for how a quantification of value, namely money or blockchain, was exchanged and orchestrated, now with the power of AI, has the ability to orchestrate how things flow through the economy and be the orchestration layer for stuff, making things almost as liquid as stuff gathering dust in your closet, almost as liquid as cash. So that's what Pentatonic is focused on. We help consumer brands and retailers own the end-to-end life cycle of the consumption cycle. So whether that's the consumer, which they want back at the end of use of a given product, or whether that's the product itself. So we do so by enabling take-back and buy-back programs, allowing brands to buy back their product at the end of use, offering you either cash with very elegant payment rails, or store credit, or loyalty points with also very elegant loyalty point rails, incentivizing you to come back to the brand which can best valorize the product that comes back, that can repair the product, unlike third-party marketplaces in some cases, that can reintroduce materials of products that cannot be resold or reconstituted back into their supply chain. And Pentatonic is the humble ERP of that, if you will, of those new functions that haven't been covered by legacy tech. We're AI native, and I think the rest you'll see in like a very quick demo.
I like that term, humble ERP. I used to work in software sales, so.
Well, I'm seeing the Salesforce tower over there, so I guess I gotta,
Not as humble
tone it down.
CRM. So let's see the demo.
Cool. Okay, so I'll try to be quick. Normally, brevity is not my strength. So this here is a prop that represents reverse vending kiosks that our customers or retail partners have in store. You can insert a product inside as the end consumer. This also works remotely at home, so you can take a photo of something and then mail it in and then have it certified at a return point. But we find the retail experience very, very important. Oh, well, here we go. So you'd come into a store, you'd select whatever product category you're returning. All you need is your phone. You don't need anything else. In this case, we're talking about a pair of sneakers, which is being returned. I can see it there as well. Brilliant. It's compared to a digital twin, which is like the platonic ideal of what the product should look like. And then you can ascertain the condition and the resale value based on scraped data. So you know, as the AI, without a human in the loop, can tell you what the resale value of this product is, whether it's repairable or not, which allows you to offer the end consumer some insights into their use of the product. In this case, sole abrasion. In case of a sneaker, you could opt in things like your Strava or Garmin data and then get really detailed running analytics on top of the condition of the shoe, so combining data sets. But also, you can then decide what to do. So in this case, you could have the product repaired, and I'm sorry this jumped off. You can have it repaired, or you can just get some cash for returning it, or you can get some store credit for returning it, and we make all of that seamless. So as a next step, here you see the end consumer selecting to sell the product back to the brand, essentially. So this is not a return, this is a new transaction. And within seconds, you have a prepaid Mastercard into your Google or Apple wallet, which you can spend. And yes, it's a debit card. You can spend it fully. You don't have like $1 left that's annoyingly sitting in there. We took great care and spared no effort. For the brands, this allows you to see how the valorization waterfall worked. So what were you able to resell? How much money do you make on that? What had to be repaired? What was the net margin on those things? Of the materials of the products that couldn't be reintroduced to the market, how many of the materials were you able to reintegrate into your supply chain? And so you can see how lossless is your material loop and how lossless is your loyalty loop with the end consumer. You can then use that data to make better and better product in the future too. You get the same kind of feedback loop that tech companies get on their product usage, but for consumer products, which ultimately can be much better.
Awesome. Thank you for that demo. And shout out to Raquel, who hauled this piece of hardware all the way to New York for us to have during Climate Week and for us to see this demo. So we have a conversation on technology, on circularity, reuse, but this story between Mastercard and Pentatonic is also one of partnerships. And we don't think of that as a climate action tool, but I think it's actually a very, very powerful tool in our toolkit. And, partnerships as a powerful platform. Can you walk us through your partnership philosophy and what has made this particular partnership successful? I'll start with you, Malin.
Thank you. Yes, so as I alluded to before, we don't believe that necessarily the Mastercard team is the smartest people on earth to design new solutions to enable sustainable consumption. But there are companies like Pentatonic really being trailblazing, having experts ranging from circularity, waste management, AI. I mean, your team is absolutely incredible, Johann, and we therefore handpick and really run a strong due diligence process to find 4 to 6 companies twice per year on these specific topics. We onboard them in a 10-year-old program that we've been running called Start Path, where we have 450 startups graduated to date. So we have been utilizing an existing platform that Mastercard has ran across a number of domains. And now we, of course, bring in sustainability as a key focus for that program. Many of those companies who've been part of this program before are today unicorns, and I really am dedicated to make sure that there are sustainability centric startups that becomes the next generation of unicorns. So partnerships is really important. We are a trusted network provider. This is what we do. We help unknown participants in an ecosystem to trust each other, whether it's a consumer with a retailer and a bank, or if it's between B2B participants. So I think this is to extend our strength and platform in that to what sustainability transition really needs, because we need collaboration in the ecosystem. And I'm so thrilled of having you, Johann, and your team on board on that journey. Do you want to add?
Well, it was still embargo till a second ago, so you heard it here first. Yeah, we're super excited in our partnership over the last year. I was surprised at the beginning because you guys are 10x larger than some of the brands that we work with. And the ability to partner obviously is part of the DNA of Mastercard. And it's amazing to see how an organization that large can move at the pace of a startup.
I'm surprised every time I hear that in terms of our team, but that's absolutely fantastic. No, so
well, we're pushy, but but there's a response. So
and what you alluded to is that tomorrow we launch the 3rd group in our Start Path program on sustainability, where Johann and team is alongside 3 other companies solving for opportunities in circular commerce. So we have 4 months ahead of us to make sure we accelerate the speed and scale of these company successes, and I'm really looking forward to that.
And when we were having our sync call, Johann, you expressed this just, thankfulness. I don't know that that's the right word, but, Mastercard has not been the type of partner that's like hovering over you, that you've been given a lot of flexibility. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
yeah, so I come from Germany, and we like to suffocate things in their infancy. I can say that being German, and I think it's a gift of American culture, and every culture has something to contribute to the global community. But this to like bet on an idea early, and to be happy to see others win. For Malin to sit here and be like, hey, I want Pentatonic to be a unicorn. That takes character, and that takes an excitement about changing the world, and an open-mindedness towards the world being a changeable thing, that I think is epitomized by certain American companies at the coast especially, and something very valuable to keep in mind these days about this culture. Then I would say we started this company with a very clear idea and vision about how the global economy, the consumer marketplace, should operate to provide the level of abundance that we want to provide to everyone. We were laughed out of many early meeting rooms. It took, now we've raised 8 figures, but that was a big uphill battle the first 2 years. You get a lot of doors shut in your face. The first customers, like the Legos and some of the beauty brands we now work with, etc. Those first few partners who bet on you big, who almost believe in you more than you deserve at that particular point in time, they always hold a dear place in your heart.
I can just add a very brief note, an invitation for anyone in the room. There are many studies now saying that by 2040, speed of change will be 4 times faster than today. And for those who want to win, whether they start as big or small, collaboration and co-creation will be everything. So really an invitation to find those that you can collaborate with. If you have a huge platform, just bring new solutions on that platform and focus on speed and scale, because that's needed.
Malin, maybe how can startups get into the program?
Go on to Mastercard, Start Path homepage, and everything is there. And it's easy to come in contact with us. And whether you're ready or not for this, we look for seed Series A stage companies, sometimes a little bit later. But we want to get to know you. We want to be in dialogue with you, whether you would be ready for Start Path in 25 or beyond.
So let's close the panel with something that is actionable. We are all consumers in the room. What is something we can all do today to accelerate circularity? And Johann, I'll let you take this.
Super easy. Pick the and self-serving. Pick your favorite brands, the brands where you feel you have a strong bilateral relationship, a strong resonance with the brand, and just ask them, hey, would you buy your product back? Do you have a take back or buy back program? If so, why don't you pay me for your product if it's so great? And obviously, I'm phrasing this in a provocative way, but I think as an end consumer, we all have the dollar vote, but we also have the ability to push brands. And it's a surprisingly small amount of customer inquiries that gets you into the top percentile of repeat questions asked. And the great brands, they do listen.
So I build on that in an online channel context. We know that organic search has dropped across verticals with 64% today. We all use the AI agents. And so next time you're about to shop something or ask your AI agent what options you have to shop something, please prompt after the first suggestions if there is a reused or secondhand product that you can buy, and if they could suggest what that is.
2 very practical suggestions. Thank you so much for coming here today for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Michelle and team.
Thank you.